I'll be introducing the panel. We have with us Mr. Pranjal Soni, VP Marketing, Candeur Developers, Mr. Vamsi, partner at Primark Developers, and Mr. Chaitanya Reddy, who's also a partner at EIPL. Welcome, gentlemen, to this PropIndex webinar. I'm Abhishek Bhadra, Head of Research at Magicbricks. I'm going to start by giving a brief presentation on the PropIndex report. So we have been doing this report for a decade now. And what primarily encompasses this report are the following. We try to cover the demand and supply analysis of key markets of India, the key metros and some of the upcoming cities, that are part of the real estate landscape. What is the pricing movement that is happening in pan-India and across all these cities? What are the growth drivers, market trends, which are the key developers, projects, and also how the supply and inventory, stock is moving across the key markets in India. We do this, as I said, for all the top 8 metros, and along with that, also some of the upcoming and developing cities in India. The source of the data is the traffic data that we get from the MB portal, which is the visitors that we get. Close to 2 crore monthly visitors we are having on MB portal. More than 15 lakh listings, which are listed on our portal across all the geographies by developers, brokers, and end users. So these are the 2 critical data sources that we use. Now, coming to the demand. We have been seeing in the last 3 years that there has been an upsurge in the demand post-COVID. So if you look at Q1 20 and between Q1 2020 and Q1 21, there was a lull in both the demand and the supply for Pan India and also in Hyderabad market. After that, if I look at Q1 22 onwards till date, the demand has seen a consistent increase. Over the last 2 years, and this is the 3rd year that we are seeing this growth to continue. However, the last quarter saw a slight dip in the demand for properties in Hyderabad and also in India. Right. However, it's early signs to say, but we can come to a conclusion that demand seems to be moderating. Favorable government policies, focus on infrastructure, housing for all, affordable housing, focus of the government, all these augurs well for the market. Under construction properties seem to be the flavor of the day. Most of the demand we are seeing comes in this segment, which is also triggering price increases. In some of the cities, we are also seeing prices of under construction properties being higher than the ready-to-move properties. If I look at the BHK trends, the northern cities of India, Gurgaon, Noida, Delhi and Greater Noida, these are primarily the 3 BHK markets of India, where people are largely looking at 3 BHK units, spacious units, and as you can see, most of the demand that we have analyzed using the traffic data falls in this segment, right? However, if you look at the western markets, Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai, these are the areas where we are seeing the 2 BHK units, ruling the demand side of things. However, if you look at Hyderabad and Bangalore, these are the only 2 South Indian cities where we are seeing, an increase in 3 BHK demand. And especially in the last quarter, if I see 45% of the, demand came from 3 BHKs, which is quite high if you look at the other cities. On the supply side of things, Hyderabad has significantly shown a growth in supply. So we have seen a consistent increase in the listings of properties in Hyderabad market. There is a low inventory overhang, which means that ready-to-move properties are kind of declining. Multi-story apartments constitute largest proportion of the total supply. 5.3% was the Q-on-Q supply growth in Hyderabad, which is quite high compared to the pan-India growth of 3.5% in the last quarter. On the pricing side, we are seeing that, of course, the last 3 years, India has seen a bull run in the real estate market. However, the last quarter, the last 3 months, we are seeing a slight moderation in prices. There could be various reasons, and we will be discussing it today in our discussion. And Hyderabad prices seems to be, peaking at this time. It seems to be to have hit a ceiling where they are moderating and we are not seeing any increase in prices. The road ahead, we are expecting interest rates, to be stable. They should be able to bring equilibrium to the market. Preference for bigger homes in rising. We are seeing that across all the key cities of India. Supply side will improve with a lot of developers launching new projects. We are also seeing plotted developments getting built across peripheral areas in the key cities. Property prices might moderate, although early, but we are seeing signs of property prices getting moderated and in some cities also going down. So with that, I end my presentation, and I would now like to ask so any opening statements by the panelists? Mr. Chaitanya, what do you have to say on the market right now? What's happening in Hyderabad?
First of all, very good morning to all the participants. Definitely the PropIndex, the data what you shared, Abhishek, is very interesting. Hyderabad remains to be a differentiated player. And when we talk about the major cities in India, traditionally it's been years, Hyderabad always being a differentiator in terms of its play. Yes, we see the supply is increasing and the ready to move in inventory is less in Hyderabad. We believe that's a kind of a phase what currently last 2 or 3 quarters Hyderabad is particularly going through. I think I'm looking forward to discuss and take more views from other participants.
Coming to Vamsi. Vamsi is also on the call with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi. So Vamsi, I would like to hear your views and comments on the report, and how do you feel, what is the ground reality in Hyderabad? Does it align with what we have experienced in Magicbricks in terms of our data, or is it different?
It is absolutely in line, Abhishek. But I always have one question when I see all these reports.
Yeah.
So it is always about comparison. So when someone says supply is more, demand is less, I always have what kind of comparison is taking care, in the sense while taking the info, when you call it as supply, it is always number of launches and the number of units has been launched versus when it comes to demand, the reports are coming out with the registration numbers, not actually the booking numbers. If at all it is booking numbers, of course, it is very difficult to collect that data because all the builders need not be in your network or so. So that shows, I mean, more or less, whatever this last quarter and before quarter we were comparing, yes, there is a slowdown in the market. But when it comes to the supply and demand, if you see, there were many launches in 21, 22, and up to mid of 23. And then if you see now, we can hardly see any launches because of new government came in and the permissions are not getting released. And then one more scenario with respect to demand is because OCs have not been issued for most of the projects. So then these registrations are not happening. Few of the customers are waiting for OC because they need not pay GST. So right now, as you said, government policies matters a lot. We hope, in a long run, it can be back to square. But currently, what Q1 and Q2 has been defined is it is all roaming around the policies of the government. So otherwise, we are fine. We are good to go. The market is going to be come back again. And then when it comes to 3 BHK, I want to add one more thing. So because when you call 2 BHK, the version or the variations of 2 BHK will be between 1,000 to 2,050 or 1,300 in Hyderabad.
Pranjal, your views on the report and the market.
As I think what Vamsi was also telling, and generally the reports show the the registrations that are done, but not on the number of bookings that is done. So which actually alters the whole data. So last 2 and 3 years, it was like the Hyderabad was topping the charts pan India, having the maximum sales all across. But there has been a significant change now, and I guess the customers looking for property are right now into an mode of observation or speculation that there might be some more announcements from the government, or maybe the builders might be doing something different in terms of the high rises XYZ etc. But this is a common phenomenon in whenever there's a government change, or it also is a phenomenon when April, May, June quarter comes. We generally see a significant sort of observation from customers, because by March customers always book their entire whatever bookings they had to do, they can do, because of the income tax returns etc. whatever they have to file. So by March they generally wind up their investments. It starts surging up again from June, July, August, and then it's always in the peak of September, October at the festive seasons. So currently, as I see, the demand of 3 BHK is definitely higher, because nowadays, if you see into the belt of West Hyderabad, say Kondapur, Gachibowli, it's not those days when you used to get before COVID at a property of a 2 BHK at around say 65, 70 lakh rupees. It's straight away now at least 110 to 120 easily under construction, a 2 BHK.
Yeah.
So customers are into having two mindset. Okay, if we are stretching for 2 BHK, and tomorrow it would be difficult for us to sell it out and things like that, considering a 2 BHK, and in fact the rentals also won't be so much better as compared to 3 BHK. So they moved into 3 BHK, thinking that okay, if we're buying a property at once, let's buy the property which completes all the requirements, like one bedroom for the kid, one bedroom for their office, guest, parents, and one master bedroom for the owner himself. So a 3 BHK has come into demand because of the prices getting really high over here. The average price right now, I think I would say in West Hyderabad would be somewhere between 9,000 to 10,000, including all. So in that way, customers are now moving towards 3 BHK, and there is a huge supply right now. If you see from other builders which are above 3 BHK, like 2,800 to 4,000 square feet, the range is having a lot of supply right now in the market. So not only 3 BHKs, people are also moving to 3 BHK plus also. Thanks.
Great, very interesting. So in line with what you said, we have also seen from our data that the demand is more than 65% of demand for 3 BHKs are in the range of 1,250 to 2,000 square feet apartments, right? So I think this is aligning with what you just said, that people are preferring 3 BHKs, and the average size is in the range of 1,500, around 1,500 to 1,700 is what I feel is what customers are looking for.
Yes. See, it fulfills all the requirement, right? They don't have to again go for a search after 4 or 5 years
Right.
when the family expands. So what they're feeling is, okay, if you're putting something above 1.2, 1.10, and we're getting a 2 BHK, let me stretch for another 25, 30 lakh rupees, go for a 2.5, or say stretch another 40 lakh rupees somehow, and then reach to a 3 BHK. So the customer is into a mindset, okay, let me finish all my requirements. Because if there was a significant gap between a 2 BHK and 3 BHK, say a big variation, then you could have seen 2 BHKs moving. And right now, you see families are moving, the family is extending, the kid wants its own bedroom, study room. You now being the hybrid culture. So say husband and wife both working, they need their separate rooms for having their meetings XYZ. So I guess 3 BHK has become a prominent requirement in West Hyderabad, and if you, I'm not so sure about how it is moving into the areas of Uppal and Shankarpalli or Mokila, the outskirts. But West Hyderabad, since I'm placed over in West Hyderabad, and we have at least 3 to 4 projects in that region, so I can give you a little bit clarity over that.
Very interesting. We also have Mr. Madusudhan, who has joined us. Welcome, Mr. Madusudhan. He is a VP GKRS Properties.
Yeah, very good morning to all the panelists, and thank you for giving an opportunity to speak. See, my views on Hyderabad is almost in a similar lines what my other friends have said.
Mr. Madusudhan, can you turn on the video, please?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Thanks.
can you see me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Okay, my views are also in similar lines what you had given the presentation and what my other friends and colleagues had said that. See, one is the major drawback of the real estate sales is regarding the government change. Why? Because the approvals what we had applied for the projects are getting delayed due to the formation of the new government. And that is one thing. And next, coming to the buyer's preference, what he said was the 3 BHK in Hyderabad is minimum charging around 1.5 crore and plus. Okay. So the segment who are affording that market have so many options of so many developers with so many projects. But coming to the affordability point of view, I mean, what my friend said that below 1 crore, you can't find a good 3 BHK in Hyderabad with a decent gated communities. So the affordability segment is missing in Hyderabad. So many of the customers could not afford the property below 1 crore or 3 BHK. So they are coming and visiting the properties, but their budgets are not matching and they are leaving up. So that is one downside what we have noticed. And next is the government is again planning to increase the land rates and registration charges. So that is the second point what we have noticed. The third one is regarding the investment sales. Now recently the new government is formed in Andhra and many of the people in Hyderabad belongs to the Andhra origination. So the investments are getting shifted from Hyderabad to the new capital of Andhra Pradesh. I mean, I won't tell it's completely slowed down, but 25% of variation what we have noticed is what is my viewpoint on the, but Hyderabad having a very good infrastructure. Yes, after 3 months, we are expecting a good comeback. Hello.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that. The other trend that we are seeing is the inventory or the available stock in Hyderabad is is moving towards under construction properties, and ready to move in construction stock is going down. So this is purely based on the listings that we have on our portal. Now, obviously, there could be two reasons behind it. One is we are seeing a slurry of new launches, which was not there in the last couple of years, or it could be the case that ready to move in properties are selling off faster, right? So I want to know from, because we have leading developers from Hyderabad with us today. What I mean is it? Does it align with what's happening in the field where people are interested in more ready to move properties, or are developers launching new projects in the last? Has the new launches increased over the last couple of years? Why are we seeing a supply growth in the under construction segment? And the other thing in this in the same point is that the prices of under construction properties are kind of have gone similar to ready to move in, right? Which was unheard of in the last couple of years. I mean, we always knew that ready to move in properties are more expensive than under construction, but including Hyderabad, a lot of other cities in India are experiencing this trend that under construction properties are now either same or in some cases higher than ready to move. So, if Mr. Chaitanya, you can throw some light on why this is happening, that would be very insightful.
So I think the key observation, what you mentioned about increase in terms of the under construction inventory versus the ready to move, right?
Yeah.
So like Vamsi was indicating, in the period post-pandemic recovery, there was a number of projects which were launched. So we see in that period, who are into the real estate market and into looking at Hyderabad as a destination in terms of best investments and a return on investments point of view, has heavily invested on those projects which was launched during the post-COVID recovery phase. And unfortunately, from those projects, we see very few projects has come to a stage of completions or ready to move in stage. That definitely a point of interest where the ready to move in availability is low today. Very few projects has reached a stage of completion or near to completion, waiting for the OC stages. So this makes the buyers' thought process also changes, right? because the investors or the buyers who've been waiting for these projects to complete last for 3+ years definitely want to play safe at this point of time. So the end use buyers, the buyers who really use the property for their self-consumption are preferring towards ready to move in. So considering the inventories, even the price trend which you mentioned about the difference between the ready to move in and the construction. Yes, that's one observation. We also see that the gap between ready to move in and the under construction is coming down. And even developers definitely wants to the ready to move in developers, those inventory, they really want to make it quickly close their sales and move on to the next projects, right? So yeah, few of the observations we see, the main reason is the projects which are launched in the last 3+ years was not yet seen the finish line, and the ready to move in as considered as a safe bet for the retail, the end consuming buyers.
Got it. We have Mr. Vivek who has joined us. Welcome, Mr. Vivek. He is the MD AASHVI VIJETHA developers.
Thank you, one and all.
Hi, Vivek. So we were discussing Hyderabad's real estate market and how we are seeing a slight lull in the last couple of quarters, and under construction property seems to be the flavor of the day. So on that note, I would want you to throw some light on your observations and your views on how the demand for real estate has been affected in the last couple of quarters, and how do you see Hyderabad shaping up as a market in the next few months?
I have a very solid view. Like I've been, real estate is one such industry which, without any industry recognition, is affected by multiple external factors. So the macro factors drive a lot of sales generally. The area that that we operate currently is in eastern part of Hyderabad and a bit in the northern part of Hyderabad, not towards the western part of Hyderabad. So the eastern part of Hyderabad is mostly driven by consumers, not investors. So what we have seen is it's not a heavy decline in the demand, but people are waiting for the sentiment to settle in. So I wouldn't say that the business has been drawn towards Andhra or the business has been drawn towards any particular geography. But there is a sentiment that has to settle in, and it is taking some time. So what's happening here, like one of my peers has mentioned that the approvals process is taking a bit long. So though that doesn't have any direct impact on the existing inventory, the talks that do rounds in the city is that real estate has slowed down because new projects are not being launched at the pace they were launched a couple of quarters back, or a lot of business is concentrated on one particular side of Hyderabad. So all these things generally, what I believe is the real estate trends are driven by sentiments, and for the sentiment to settle in will take some time when there are heavy macro factors that are affecting. For example, the pandemic has given a good growth. Most of us have our lives affected during that pandemic, but post-pandemic, Hyderabad has sprung up like never before. Similarly, I think once the sentiment settles in, once certain policies are made, once certain macro factor decisions are made, I think the sentiment will get back. One key observation that we have seen is have not reduced to our site offices. And like I follow my sales process very close. I even look at my customer acquisition cost. I look at how the digital marketing is faring. I look at how Magicbricks is faring. I look at how multiple portals are faring very closely. And what I've seen is my lead cost has not gone up. My qualification level has not gone down, and my walk-ins have not gone down. So it's a good problem to have. I think all these are going to be building up base for a very strong quarter, probably the next quarter or the next one after that. But I don't have much negative sentiment about it as of now.
Wonderful. On that note, I would want to also understand from the panel that Hyderabad in the recent past has seen an expansion in the commercial space. So a lot of companies have.
Abhishek, yeah. I just want to add, what Chaitanya was talking about.
Sure.
So I, being a chartered accountant, I just want to add one element of GST aspect. With respect to why, your question is like why under construction prices are going up and then why not at ready to move in.
Yeah.
So there is one GST aspect which is playing major role there because see under construction again when it compare again the I question about the comparison part because when you call it as a project if it is 3.5 years project, so your span of under construction is 3.5 years. You are comparing 3.5 years versus ready to move in after 3.5 years. So when you take under construction, obviously it is a span of 3.5 years. I can play any game during that 3.5 years with respect to price. I can increase every 300 per every quarter, or I can, based on the demand and scenario. So initially we will increase lesser price, then mid of the project we will play safe, and then when it is reaching, we will increase bit more. But when it is a scenario of ready to move in, after obtaining OC, builder has to pay GST under RCM. Everyone thinks that there is no GST actually, but we need to pay. I mean, builder has to pay under RCM, reverse charge mechanism. In that scenario, what happens, if it is a 5,000 under construction, 5,000 plus 250, 5,250 I used to charge from customer. But after we obtain OC, for the marketing purposes, we are happy to announce that we got OC. But when it comes to the financial aspect, we are not happy because I have to pay that 250 out of my pocket under RCM because customer always thinks that there is no GST. So in that scenario, I have to play safe with respect to pricing after OC and in the scenario ready to move in. Then what I'll do, I'll make this 5,250 as 5,000 as 5,300, and then that 250 I'll pay out of this 5,300. So what is that I'm getting? See, if you make this 5,000 as 5,500, suddenly customers won't turn up. I have to play safe to make it. And what we are doing is we are keeping customer customized that every quarter or so prices will increase. So please do take a decision in this quarter, not next quarter. So we are reaching towards that average price what we have to get from the project versus once it reaches ready to move in, I have to always think about my RCM in my head. So then, and also placing of the price properly. So I will do it as 5,000 to 5,300, and then I will do it as 5,300 to 5,400. Earlier, under construction, I play every quarter the pricing, whereas ready to move in, I play every month. But keeping this indirect factor of RCM, so that shows a lesser growth when you take the statistics. Ready to move in will take a lesser pie versus under construction. So that's how I feel.
Okay, understood. So I coming back to my point, which I was mentioning, Hyderabad has seen an expansion in commercial on the commercial landscape as well. We are seeing a lot of companies opening up, GCCs in Hyderabad. I think Hyderabad now has the highest number of GCCs in India, and companies like EPM, Axtria, they have opened GCCs in Hyderabad. Innovation centers are coming up. The World Trade Center in Shamshabad is also the talk of the town. So we are seeing a lot of commercial activity happening, which of course is going to draw a lot of residential investment also into Hyderabad. What I want to ask and understand from the panel is, what are the factors which are leading to, which are driving and which are drawing the attention of global companies in setting up GCCs in Hyderabad? What could be the key factors? Mr. Madusudhan, do you have anything on this?
One thing, few points from my side is we had a very good infrastructure. Next is we had a very good land bank available. And next, coming to the government initiative, we had a green channel for getting all approvals in place. So that was a major initiative done by the old government. But we have to see the new government, how they will take forward. So that is the main advantage is regarding the outer ring road is one major boost for many of the companies getting connected to the Hyderabad. And coming to the availability of the land bank. That is two things. And coming to the increase in real estate demand is mainly because of the employment generation. And what you said was the upcoming companies that are showing interest in Hyderabad. So previously, Hyderabad has development towards only the western part of the city, but it has been expanded to the south, and now it's coming to the east and even to the north side also. So the Hyderabad as a whole is expanding because of the major due to the employment generation and many of the investments getting into the Hyderabad. That is the only growth driver what I can see. And many of the NRIs, what you said was regarding one of our project in Villa project. See, Villa project customers want to have a ready to move in. What you said was right. And coming to the apartments, they are preferring to have an under construction property. Why? Because their loan tenure is more and they are getting other benefits like a pre-EMI options, investment options, 50% advance payments. So many of my buyers are looking for under construction properties rather than the completion projects in terms of apartments. But for villas, yes, they are looking for the completed villa project. Why? Because they want to see all the amenities are being completed and the timeline for the villas takes much time than the apartment projects.
Understood. Coming back to Pranjal, obviously we all know that the western side of Hyderabad has been, uh, drawing most of the demand, and people are looking for properties in this segment. Kondapur, Gachibowli, Miapur. These are the the key sectors of Hyderabad which have seen development and a lot of activity. Now we are also seeing activity towards the northern side of Hyderabad, the Medchal Highway, and also Uppal in the eastern part of Hyderabad. So all these new localities are coming up. Do you see any specific localities that customers can look at, or where developers are focusing on for new properties to come up?
I guess the real estate supply and demand increases only into the areas where you see more of the commercial offices. It's that simple. As I told, Hyderabad is not into a segment that the affordability ratio has always increased, and any person, say, who's working into a good company, which is located near to his home. So his first preference would be to buy a property whichever is near to his home and things like that, and where he can get rentals at XYZ, etc. Even if he's not then the city, moving to some other city for the work purpose or get shifted up, at least his property should give him a decent rent, which should support him into his EMIs, etc. in future. So generally, why West is moving is only because of the IT companies that is supporting the real estate movement over there. Now, what I see is Uppal will have a upsurge trend because of Infosys over there and one or two more companies moving, all those things, and but not as much as concentration what West has. So I guess the area above Telapur, or say if you keep Wipro Circle as a central point, and if you take around the first 7 to 8 kilometers, you cover Kondapur and Gachibowli and things like that. But if you cover another 15 kilometer, I mean the 15 kilometers radius over it, so you get Kolur, you get Party. So all those areas where little bit you can say as a suburb to the city or from the main point. But yes, customers are moving into that trend that okay, in future, since the Stelapur has got developed, maybe in future the Kolur might get developed and things like that. And second is what I see nowadays is there are some new projects getting launched at Kukatpalli also, that area as well. So I guess this two place for investors should be a good point to put money in, and if they want to see and being a multi-bagger into the real estate, like what people invested money in 2000, say 2020, 2021, and they could see straight away double or triple of the profits within 3 years. And if they want to put money over somewhere over there, the best point is to put somewhere into Kolur, or maybe wherever IT space is there and say it's unaffordable to you, move at least 3 or 4 kilometers ahead from it, see the nearest ORR to you, and just chip in the money over there. Maybe in a span of 7 to 8 years, the money would grow. And also, third point that we are missing here is Shamshabad. Shamshabad is really seeing a new upsurge trend nowadays. You
Yes.
see Postal City coming up and setting up. There's a lot more developments getting into Shamshabad. So if people want to enjoy the same benefits what the customers enjoyed into Gachibowli, Madhapur, High-Tech City, Telapur, and they increase their money into multiple folds, Shamshabad can be a place to chip in money right now and wait for at least 6 to 7 years of development. Definitely, it will give a lot of profit to customers, double their money. And since overall support a boon to Hyderabad, you can connect anywhere in 35-40 minutes. That's a blessing to us. So definitely Shamshabad, Kollur, Pati, and I would say Koppal. I'll go with you. And Kukatpalli would be the areas to, invest into under construction properties right now.
Great. So we conclude this discussion now. Just one last point I want, all the panelists to throw their light on, which is now we have a new government. Amravati is the new capital of Andhra Pradesh. Do you see any demand from Hyderabad moving to that side of Andhra Pradesh, and does it impact Hyderabad real estate in any way? Can we start with Mr. Chaitanya?
So I'll probably continue on what Pankaj was mentioning about the way Hyderabad is being getting expanded. So this will have a definite infrastructure advantage of Hyderabad. So while the locations was very specifically mentioned by Pranjal,
Yep.
the Shamshabad and the south is another area which is shining now. So we'll be waiting to see the kind of a growth in next 3 to 5 years towards south of Hyderabad. Particularly segments like Shamshabad or Tukuguda towards Adipattu. Those areas where then a lot of developments are coming in, the World Trade Centers, these are the elements are coming. So the exceptional connectivity from south to the IT sector, which is the Wipro circles or the financial district, is undoubtedly the best infrastructure what we have. So under 20-25 minutes of drive. Now, the point what you are indicating that government changes in Andhra, which definitely will attract the kind of investors to see what kind of advantage they get from purely from an investment point of view, or the people who are from an Andhra as a background and like to see the opportunities to have a housing or any kind of investments. Definitely we have a kind of a watch period to see what new government is going to offer towards Andhra. While the fact of interest will be remains to be there, but Hyderabad as a city with the best infrastructure, the kind of employment and the skilled manpower, the way you mentioned about EPAM and the multinational companies setting up their direct operations. The change in the recent times is Hyderabad not just an offshoring center. The enterprise, the global enterprises are looking at establishing their direct arm, the centers in Hyderabad. That's going to be a game changer because the kind of employment will have a quality of the salary ranges, the segment of earning power will increase. Considering the both wife and husband working families, the purchase power in Hyderabad will be definitely will be more, and the residents in Hyderabad look for a lifestyle of investments like the villas, the communities, gated community villas from various ranges from 267. We are talking about a villas up to 2,400 square acres, off-acre villas. So these kind of luxury products to offer and provide a diversified products in the market. So Hyderabad, the real estate market has the extra edge in providing those innovations, differentiated products, and we are hoping the growth journey of Hyderabad will continue. It definitely last 2 or 3 quarters, we are seeing a slow trend. It could be the watching period of investors as well as to the end buyers to see how the election and other periods are moving on. And we strongly see that the next 3 months is going to give us better clarity and it will continue to grow.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining this webinar. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you. I hope it was insightful and useful and very interesting for all of you. Looking forward to speaking to you again. Thanks.